Well, I think that's a go. Well, here we are all again. Well, I'm here. I don't know about anyone else. Paul's here.
I'm here.
Agent
Yeah,
I'm
Jameson's
here.
here. Blue's here. Yeah, we're all here. Everyone's counted for. Well, I think that's a go. Well, I think that's not a go though, doing that. Better mute that. Don't want to hear myself twice. It'll get confusing. Well, going by the title of the stream, I thought, well, where are we up to last time? We'll do an ancient tech, and I was pondering to start to head towards more the Industrial Revolution time period, because we're going back all through the early part of the century there, and AD, or after Common Era, um, up until the Dark Ages sort of thing. But now that we're back again, I think we might start leading up to the Industrial Revolution. Now, I was doing some research into the coal side of things, and how it led to for the steam engines and things like that for powering. But there was also the part about what about the other fossil fuels that were out there? What became of them to power things or not? Like your natural gases and things like that. So we'll have a look into bits and pieces. I have got some articles. I haven't got any videos as such because I haven't quite got that part sorted out yet. I'll just grab these documents. Oh, now where'd I put them? I put them somewhere. Don't worry, they're here somewhere. Stream topic, that's it. Complete history of fossil fuels. From coal to natural gas and oil, fossil fuels have become the world's primary source of energy, but their rise to dominance was a long and grueling process. I'll grab that because there's a bit that I can read out off that. This one is got, what's this one got? It's got a segment, fossil fuel, steam power and the rise of manufacturing. And I think what's this one got? Oh, this one's got 54 pages. Coal and the Industrial Revolution from 1700 to 1869, and it's got 54 pages. So I think that might take a little bit long to read that.
yeah, that might be a bit.
It's very in depth though. It does go
Perhaps
through
you
it.
could do a quantum eraser and cherry pick something from it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
otherwise it's about, Flat Earth's couple of years worth of reading.
Well, the excerpt I wanted to read out from. Close that. Complete history of fossil fuels. I think the bit goes to. Yeah, okay, well that section there's probably what the main bit. Oh, can't do that if that's in the road. Get that out of the way. Move. Can't have you there. Now, this is going to be hard for me to read because I'm only on one monitor. And I haven't got farmers here to do the reading. I thought we might just read this bit out from there. Are we able to see that? Complete history of fossil fuel. We can read down to there. So the first bit and that bit has got some information in it. So, right, okay. Fossil fuels are the primary source of energy in the world today, but people started using fossil fuels long before the first steam engine running on coal or the first commercially drilled oil well. Some forms of petroleum, coal and natural gas were used thousands of years ago by various civilizations on various continents, according to the historical records and archaeological finds. The history of use of fossil fuels is as old as is the history of human civilization. Of course, all early uses of fossil fuels cannot compare in volume to today's exploration, extraction, processing, and trading industries in the three main fossil fuels: crude oil, natural gas, and coal. Those three fuels combined account for the majority of global energy use now. In ancient times, the use of fossil fuels may have been limited due to the lack of knowledge and technology, but civilizations tried to some extent manage to make the fossil fuel resources they could extract and their use in everyday lives. Down. So the complete history of fossil fuels we'll dwell on. Early uses of fossil fuel, how the Industrial Revolution changed the world, when the first commercial oil well was drilled, the invention that changed the use of oil and made it, I don't know if we're going to read into this further down, but made a key source of energy. How the world wars drove up the oil demand, well that's further on in our timeline. And how we use fossil fuels today, which is obviously in our timeline. Fossil fuels are a class of materials formed from dead organisms that sunk below the surface of the Earth millions of years ago. So these are young Earth creationists can work that one out. All fossil fuels were organic material once, but different geological conditions such as pressure, temperature, rocks, and sediment have to the formation of different types of fossil fuels. Okay, for the comprehensive overview of fossil fuels, the types of fossil fuels, modern uses, fuels and shares of fossil fuels today, Energy Man check. Okay, well, I'm not going to read that bit. Okay, we'll just go to this bit here. Early uses of fossil fuels. Civilizations used petroleum in various forms thousands of years ago, long before any oil well was actually drilled or any oil corporation was formed. Ancient civilizations did not have the technology to either drill or refine oil, but they used, I can't work out that blue bit's in the road, something petroleum that they found seeping on the surface for construction and waterproofing. According to ancient Greek historian Herodotus, bitumen was from a small tributary of the river Euphrates in modern-day Iraq, was used for the construction of the wall of Babylon.
Euphrates.
Are you reading this? Are you reading this?
I'm just saying that, get the pronunciation right.
Euphrates in modern-day Iraq was used for the construction of the wall of Babylon, the most famous city of ancient Mesopotamia. Mesopotamians also used bitumen for road construction and sealing and waterproofing. Waterproofing the boats, I suppose that should say. That blue, I wish I could get rid of that blue bit. Oh, yeah. The Sumerian civilization, which dominated the Mesopotamia region between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in what we now refer to as the Middle East, between 4000 BC and 2000 BC, used asphalt to glue their mosaic works on floors and walls. Mosaics and brick columns were one of the achievements in art and architecture of the Sumerians. Okay. Now the other one, I think this one's got a little bit. This one's a little bit shorter. It hasn't got as much to read. Okay. Okay, Smarty Pants, you want to do a bit of reading?
Sure.
Sure.
What are we doing? We're doing fossil fuel. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, we're up to
Fossil fuel, steam power, and the rise of manufacturing.
Yeah, you can cotton on to where we're up to in my ancient technologies by the time you're reading all this.
Okay. Abundant fossil fuels and the innovative machines they powered launched an era of accelerated change that continues to transform human society.
Oh, look at all that smoke.
Smokestacks in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, circa 1890. The transformation of the world. Try to imagine what your life would be like without any machines working for you. Make a list of the machines in your household, and on your person, you may arrive at a surprising number, particularly if you use a classical definition of a machine. Now, imagine earlier generations during their childhood years. How did they move from place to place? How did they communicate? What foods did they eat? At one time, humans, fueled by the animals and plants they ate and wood they burned or aided by their domesticated animals, provided most of the energy in use. Windmills and water wheels captured some extra energy, but there was little in reserve. All life operated within the fairly immediate flow of the energy from the sun to the earth. Everything changed during the Industrial Revolution, which began around 1750. People found an extra source of energy with an incredible capacity for work. That source was fossil fuels, coal, oil, and natural gas, though coal led the way. Formed underground from the remains of plants and animals from much earlier geological times. When these fuels were burned, they released energy originally from the sun that had been stored for hundreds of millions of years. Coal was formed when huge trees from the Carboniferous period, 345 to 280 million years ago, fell and were covered with water so that oxygen and bacteria could not decay them. Instead, the pressure of the weight of the materials above them compressed them into dark, carbonic, ignitable rock. Most of the Earth's oil and gas formed over 100 million years ago from tiny animal skeletons and plant matter that fell to the bottom of seas or were buried in sediment. This organic matter was compacted by the weight of water and soil. Coal, oil, and gas, despite their relative abundance, are not evenly distributed on Earth. Some places have much more than others due to geographic factors and the diverse ecosystems that existed long ago. Early steam engines. Anybody else can step in at there's no Herodotus or Euphrates.
No.
The story of the Industrial Revolution begins on the small island of Great Britain. Actually, Great Britain is 2 islands, but we won't split hairs. By the early 18th century, people there had used up most of their trees for building houses and chipped for cooking and heating. I don't think that's true. In their search for something else to burn, they turned to the hunks of black stone coal that they found near the surface of the earth. Soon they were digging deeper in to mine it. Their coal mines filled with water that needed to be removed. Horses pulling up bucketfuls proved slow going.
And that's a pump.
James Watt's Sun and Planet steam engine. To the rescue came James Watt, 1736 to 1819, in the Common Era, a Scottish instrument maker who in 1776 designed an engine in which burning coal produced steam, which drove a piston assisted by a partial vacuum. There had been earlier steam engines in Britain and also in China and in Turkey, where one was used to turn the spit that roasted lamb over a fire. Its first application was to more quickly and efficiently pump water out of coal mines to better allow for extraction of the natural resource. But Watt's engine worked well enough to be put to other uses. He became a wealthy man. After his patent ran out in 1800, others improved upon his engine. By 1900, engines burned 10 times more efficiently than they had 100 years before. At the outset of the 19th century, British colonies in North America were producing lots of cotton, using machines to spin the cotton thread on spindles and to weave it into cloth on looms. When they attached a steam engine to these machines, they could easily outproduce India, up until then the world's leading producer of cotton cloth. One steam engine could power many spindles and looms. This meant that people had to leave their homes and work together in factories. Early in the 19th century, the British also invented steam locomotives and steamships, which revolutionized travel. In 1851, they held the world's first World's Fair, at which they exhibited telegraphs, sewing machines, revolvers, reaping machines, and steam hammers to demonstrate that they were the world's leading manufacturer of machinery. By this time, the characteristics of industrial society, smoke rising from factories, bigger cities, and denser populations, railroads, could be seen in many places in Britain.
Renee Mean said, I can't catch my breath, Tony.
Okay. Why Britain? Britain wasn't the only place that had deposits of coal, so why didn't the Industrial Revolution begin in China or somewhere else that boasted this natural resource? Did it start in isolation of Britain, or were there global forces at work that shaped it? Was it geography or cultural institutions that mattered most? Historians have vigorously debated these questions, amassing as much evidence as possible for their answers. Possible reasons why industrialization began in Britain can include shortage of wood and the abundance of convenient coal deposits. Yeah, that's a load of bullshit, Barry. Commercial-minded aristocracy, limited monarchy. Yep, that's a load of bullshit, Barry. System of free enterprise, limited government involvement. That's a load of bullshit, Barry. Government support for commercial projects for a strong navy to project ships. I think naval superiority did play a role. Cheap cotton produced by slaves in North America, high literacy rates, rule of law, protection of assets. Valuable immigrants, Dutch Jews, Huguenots, French Protestants. Possible reasons why industrialization did not begin in China include location of China's coal, which was in the north, while economic activity was centered in the south. Rapid growth of population in China, giving less incentive for machines and more for labor-intensive methods. Confucian ideals that valued stability and frowned upon experimentation and change. Lack of Chinese government support for maritime explorations, thinking its empire seemed large enough to provide everything they needed. China's focus on defending itself from nomadic attacks from the north and the west. Global forces, including the development of something that's gone. Yeah, thanks, Terry. You're a great help.
Also, it's gone too far.
You did. Influencing development of industrialization in Britain include Britain's location on the Atlantic Ocean, British colonies in North America, which provided land, labour and markets, silver from the Americas used to trade with China, social and ideological conditions in Britain, and new thoughts about the economy that encouraged an entrepreneurial spirit. By the way, if you're wondering what oil and natural gas were doing while coal was powering the Industrial Revolution, they've been discovered long before and were in use, but mostly as fuels for lamps and other light sources.
Not to mention massage parlors.
Excellent point, Blue. Yes, well done.
Where does that say that?
It was. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that oil caught up and surpassed coal in use. I think Blue is value adding.
Oh, okay.
That's the phrase, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So just trying to provide a little perspective here. That's all.
Yeah, that's okay. Calcutta Harbour. Yeah.
Yes. Though I will point out that the modern pronunciation is Calcutta. So
Okay.
take that for what it's worth.
But anyway, that was in 18.
Anybody can take over at any point if you guys want to read.
Well, you're running out of breath. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm fine.
John said, never ask a scientist to do your ASMR.
Good point. Do you want me to keep on going, or do you want me to hand off to somebody else?
I don't know. If anyone else wants to join in, they can.
1 for me, 2 for somebody else.
I've read once. You've read once. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're
How
done.
are other people feeling?
Yeah. Crickets. Okay.
Okay.
The spread of the
That
Industrial
says that I need to
Revolution.
do it.
Okay, the spread of the Industrial Revolution. Britain tried to keep secret how machines were made, but people went there to learn about them and took their techniques back home. Sometimes they smuggled the machines out in rowboats to neighbouring countries. The first countries after Britain to develop factories and railroads were Belgium, Switzerland, France, and the states that became Germany. Building a national railroad system proved an essential part of industrialisation. Belgium began its railroads in 1834, France in 1842 and Switzerland in 1847, and Germany in the 1850s. Industrialisation began in the United States was Samuel Slater immigrated from Britain to Rhode Island in 1789 and set up the first textile factory on US soil. He did this from memory, having left Britain without notes or plans that could have been confiscated by British authorities. Francis Cabot Lowell of Massachusetts visited Britain from 1810 to 1812 and returned to set up the first power loom and first factory combining mechanical spinning and weaving in the States. Railway construction in America boomed from the 1830s to 1870s. The American Civil War, 1861 to 65, was the first truly industrial war. The increasingly urbanized and factory-based North fighting against the agricultural focused South. And industrialization grew explosively afterward. By 1900, the United States had overtaken Britain in manufacturing, producing 24% of the world's output. After 1870, both Russia and Japan were forced by losing wars to abolish their feudal systems and to compete in the industrializing world. In Japan, the monarchy...
That's a lie.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
Japan,
Japan did not lose a war.
Oh, okay. I'll have to work out who wrote this. In Japan, the monarchy proved flexible enough to survive through early civil industrialization. In Russia, a profoundly rural country, the Tsar and notably undertook industrialization while trying to retain their dominance. Factory workers often worked 13-hour days without any legal rights. Discontented erupted repeatedly, and eventually a revolution brought the Communist Party to power in 1917. Industrialized nations used their strong armies and navies to colonize many parts of the world that were not industrialized, gaining access to the raw materials needed for their factories, a practice known as imperialism. In 1800, Europeans occupied or controlled about 34% of the land surface of the world. By 1914, this had risen to 84%. Britain led the 19th century takeovers and ended the century with the largest contiguous empire the world has ever known. Did I pronounce that wrong?
Non-contiguous.
What did I say?
Mm.
The sun never sets on the British Empire. As the British like to say, Britain exerted great influence in China and Ottoman Empire without taking over direct rule. While in India, Southeast Asia and 60% of Africa, it assumed all governmental functions. How much more we got to go? Oh, nearly there. I forgot where I was up to.
In the last decade.
Oh, okay, in the last decade. Oh, you're reading now. Are you reading a bit, are you, Sheepy?
No, I just told you where you're up to. I can if you want.
It's okay. I haven't got subtitles. I think people will muddle through.
Yeah, no worries.
No one cottoned onto that, did they?
No, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
I watched it move and like, wait a minute. you were gonna make me begin, right? Like, yeah. All right. In the last decade of the 19th century, most European nations grabbed for a piece of Africa, and by 1900, the only independent country left on the continent was Ethiopia. After World War II, 1939 to 1945, Europe's colonies demanded their independence, which didn't always happen immediately or without conflict, but eventually took root. Now in the early 21st century, Brazil, China, and India are becoming economic powerhouses, while many European countries are enduring troubled economic times. Scroll slowly. Slowly.
Oops, wait a minute, I've lost my mouse.
Just below the picture, yeah. Whoa, look at that. Far out. Workers hauling coal near
Yeah.
Fengjie, China. Far
Coal
out.
mining the hard way.
2005. That's not
2005.
that long ago. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. That is doing it the hard way.
Yeah.
You should see Brazilians mining gold because they one of the things about getting the gold ore out is that you often mix it with mercury, which Brazilian gold miners do by hand. They mix the mercury with the gold to get the gold out. And you're just thinking to
Wow.
yourself, just wow, you guys might want to reconsider how you're doing that.
Mm. But
It's
human
not good for
fatality
you.
and all that probably wasn't. It's not an issue for some of these countries.
If there's money involved, yeah. Consequences of the Industrial Revolution. The statistics that reflect the effects of industrialization are staggering. In 1700, before the widespread use of fossil fuels, the world had a population of 670 million people. By 2011, the world's population had reached 6.7 billion, a tenfold increase in a mere 300 years. In the 20th century alone, the world's economy grew 14-fold. The per capita income grew almost 4-fold, and the use of energy expanded at least 13-fold. This kind of growth has never before occurred in human history. Many people around the world today enjoy the benefits of industrialization. With so much more energy flowing through human systems than ever before, many of us must do much less hard physical labor than earlier generations did. People today are able to feed more babies and bring them to adulthood. Many people vote and participate in modern states, which provide education, social security, and health benefits. Large numbers of people enjoy their levels of wealth, health, education, travel, and life expectancy unimagined before industrialization. The benefits of industrialization, however, have come at great cost. For one thing, the rate of change, acceleration, is now so rapid that individuals and social systems struggle to keep up, and strong arguments can be made about depersonalization in the age of mass production. The increased complexity of the industrial system has also brought increased fragility. Industrialization depends on the interaction of many diverse components, any one of which could fail. We know that many of the essential components of the industrial system and the natural resources it depends on are being compromised. The soil, the oceans, the atmosphere, the underground, water levels, plants, and animals are all at risk. Will growth continue unchecked, or are we approaching the end of an unsustainable industrial era? Whatever the future holds, we'll be debating and dealing with the consequences of modernization for years to come.
I can answer
Thanks,
some of
Cynthia.
those questions for you.
Please.
So the Earth currently has less than 50 years of topsoil left at the current rate of degradation. In large portions, so once we run out of that, what is happening at the moment is that people will slash down forest, use up the soil that was nourishing the forest, and then move on. So once they've run out of soil to do that with, they'll have to invest in artificial nutrients for their soil, which is going to make agriculture significantly more expensive for them. So that's one of the timetables that we're on at the moment, that I was quite surprised to read about. I was reading about how we had less than 60 years of topsoil left in a 10-year-old textbook. We're not working through our resources in the most prudent fashion imaginable.
And that 10-year-old textbook, I guess it was based on a forecast that could have been under estimated.
I mean it's one of the aspects of climate change that I constantly harp on about, is that a lot of the projections of climate change are based on the patterns of how humans are changing the climate. But what seems to be happening at the moment, and what was long feared amongst climate scientists, was that we were going to set off positive feedback events like the melting of Siberian permafrost, or the release of clathrate methane from the ocean floor. Both of these processes seem to have been initiated, and they're just going to make the problem worse. That's how positive feedbacks work. It's where, and we've suffered. So recently there was a survey of 21,000 separate ecosystems that found that the average wildlife decline in each of these ecosystems was 64%. There's been an 80% since 1970. There's been an 80% decline in insect populations over pretty much the same period. There's every indication that we are, and I can attest to this to some extent from personal experience. I grew up in Newcastle. My grandparents lived in Canberra. Every school holiday, I would be driven, the 400 miles, the 650 kilometers from Newcastle to Canberra. And, we'd have to stop a few times to wipe insects off our windscreens. You don't need to do that today. You can travel the entire way without needing to stop once to wipe insects off your windscreen. And perhaps you need to be an old fossil like me to notice the difference, but it's definitely there. You don't need to do it anymore. So there are a lot of metrics by which we're doing some really dangerous things. But encouraging people that perhaps this is dangerous doesn't seem to be doing much. So
it was interesting, Tony. They had a show on TV here the other day where they were talking about the permafrost in Siberia, and they were focusing on this particular farmer there, and he was basically gathering together all his scrap timber and putting it over a hole that had developed in the permafrost. It was turning into a lake, so he could save his house. Like, that's not going to last long.
No, it's not going to last long, and you can look it up. There are these gigantic holes that are so as you defrost the permafrost, the vegetation that is down there starts to rot, starts emitting methane. The pressure builds up, and all of a sudden there's this huge gas release, and you end up with this sort of pothole in the middle of a Siberian plain, and it's happening quite frequently. It's just a symptom. The guys who live there can't do anything about it. They just have to do what they can. Indeed, individual people, I can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. None of us as individuals can do anything about it. What we need to be doing is changing the market for energy. If we don't do that, then it's just not going to improve. But there you are. That's me being cheerful. How are you guys?
Okay, good, Tony. I can say hello to you now.
Excellent. Okay.
Changing the market for energy is hard when you've got politicians that have vested interests in the old technology.
Well, it's worse than that, right? I mean, it's not just politicians, but in Australia, for instance, our state governments are considered the energy market as it exists to be highly profitable because they own or have controlling shares in a lot of energy providers. What's in it for them in going to renewable energy? Not much. I'm sure things are much better in the US, right, Blue?
No, not really.
And I kind of blame Rupert Murdoch for all of this. And we're responsible for him. We produced him. He's an American citizen now, so we can kind of dodge the blame a little bit, but I think we're still to blame. So is anybody going to change the topic to something less depressing, or are you just going to let me drown here?
Well, when
What's
we
your
hear
background, Tony?
I'm a geophysicist.
Wicked. That's a powerful thing.
With my specialist topic of study is sea level change, but I've also studied climate science. And I kind of thought before discovering the flat Earth that that climate denialists represented the fringe anti-science element of our society. How wrong I was. How naive. There are people out there protesting vividly that viruses don't exist.
Oh, yeah.
And your background?
Nothing like that. I just noticed how easily these topics came to you. So I figured you had to be some type of PhD level scientist in something to do with science of the Earth. That's for sure.
Yeah. So so my speciality, as I say, is sea level change. But for me, when I was doing my PhD, I kind of considered climate science as not really relevant. I thought, the climate scientists will sort this all out, and all of this controversy and debate will disappear into the rearview mirror. Never happened, and so I decided that I had to go and study climate science. And boy, did I feel like a complete idiot after I did that. Because to me, it seemed like climate science erupted from nowhere. Here was this brand new field of science that was suggesting that we should cut down on our carbon dioxide emissions. And it turns out that the basic elements of this science are about 200 years old, older than evolution, older than relativity, older than quantum mechanics. The basic elements of climate science are actually quite venerable. We just didn't hear about them until they became quite urgent.
Yes, I think the idea of just using the resources because there's an abundance, but not really forecasting when there was not abundance. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I kind of feel like a lot of the the industrial revolution and what was described there, and led to an abrupt release of fossil fuels, and it's not the first time that it's happened in Earth's history. This has happened previously, and it had very deleterious effects. While we were doing it, we didn't understand the right cost that was associated with burning fossil fuels. So we didn't price it properly. Economically, we were operating under an illusion. We didn't have an accurate understanding of what we were doing. And so the markets were operating in ignorance of the ultimate consequences of the way they were behaving. So under that, economics and the free market and that sort of thing, sometimes they do work, sometimes they don't work. In this case, they didn't work because they didn't have access to full information about what the consequences of carbon dioxide emissions were.
So does that have anything to do with us, like cutting down the forests and things of that nature? Is that something to do with it?
Yes, that is something to do with it. So while releasing, so our reliance on fossil fuels is dominantly due to habitat destruction more than it is to climate change. So it's the fact that humans come in and chop down trees and destroy regions that species used to occupy. That leads, of course, to a loss of biodiversity, which makes us more vulnerable to potential biological threats.
With a population as large as we have now, the idea of not, having modern cities and things to live in is just not. It's not a feasible option to have it any other way, though, is it? I mean, we all couldn't kind of live in the huts, So it's a
yep.
Kind of goes with the territory of development.
Yeah. So the solution, as far as I'm concerned, would be nuclear power.
Right.
Even without fusion, just fission power. We do have the capacity, particularly in Australia, to safely dispose of nuclear waste. We've got a dry, tectonically stable environment with a government that won't turn this into dirty weapons or anything noxious. So this would actually be a way for Australia to make a significant amount of money, because there are a lot of countries around the world that will pay top dollar to get rid of nuclear waste. And given that we have been selling uranium hand over fist, it seems only fair that we stick nuclear waste down the holes that we created digging the uranium up in the first place. And there are technologies that are appropriate for this, but Australia is an ideal location for disposing of nuclear waste.
You said tectonic stability, is that correct?
Yes, I did say that.
I heard a photo that they denied tectonic plates' existence.
Yeah, well, that's weird.
And that fault lines weren't a thing; they couldn't be detected.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
That's a completely circular argument. In fact, we can determine the location of seismic events using spherical models. So,
yeah, that was what the point they were trying to get away from.
Yes, that was the point they were trying to get away from.
But we can
test our ability to detect seismic events using known events such as nuclear test detonations, right? So these are seismic events of known location and temporal, known geographical and temporal location. So they
is that induced seismic activity? Is that what that's called?
Yeah. Well, that is one class of induced seismic activity. There are other classes of it, like you can use subsurface or near surface explosions. There are things called seismic hammers. There are acoustic reverberators that send sound waves through the earth over small distances. But nuclear explosions provide sort of a test of our ability on a global scale to locate the source of a seismic event.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry, Blue. Yeah,
I do agree. I agree with Tony that I've always thought nuclear power was the alternative and one we should have turned to, but in a sensible sort of way. Yeah, but you see, it only takes a couple of incidents like 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl
Yeah, well,
to turn
yeah,
people around. But those are
Chernobyl.
particularly stupid things that happened.
Yeah. Chernobyl is almost like they set out to cause a nuclear catastrophe, right? I mean,
yeah,
if you study the details of the Chernobyl incident, it really is like they did everything they could to get stuff wrong and just cause an emergency. During a test, they were testing their emergency procedures, and it went wrong.
Yeah.
And it went wrong for reasons that were completely predictable. Rather than using the daytime staff who were fully trained in how to operate a nuclear facility, they were using the nighttime staff who were retrained coal station engineers. So they didn't really understand nuclear power anywhere near as well as the daytime engineers did. There had been a drought, so their water reserves were low. Their reactor design was bad. It had been implemented on a repurposed coal power station as opposed to a purpose-designed nuclear power station. Really, it is kind of hard to view it as anything other than the Russians deliberately trying to fuck up and succeeding.
Did quite a good job of it too.
Yeah, they did.
One of the places you want to look at the proper usage of nuclear power, as much as I hate to give credit to the French for any friggin' thing, they actually have done a marvelous job with their power system. Mm-hmm. They get about 70% of their energy needs from nuclear power. Yeah. But they've done it in a very sensible sort of way. They have a standard plant that they make over and over and over again, as opposed to idiotic places like this idiotic place I live, where every generating station starts with a clean sheet of paper, and you go back through the whole thing all over again.
Yep.
If you find a well-designed system that you just simply improve a little bit each time, that would be quite helpful. Yeah. But unfortunately, a lot of the world hadn't done that. And
so
Australia would be a great place to put, but because the coal you guys have sucks. I mean, it just absolutely sucks.
Yep.
Everything down there is lignite, and it's just horrible from a pollution standpoint, air pollution standpoint.
Yep.
The particulate is virtually uncollectible in anything other than a fabric filter. You can't do anything with it to speak of with an electrostatic precipitator, for instance.
Yep.
So, and that's all you've got. Other places we've got the gamut, and so does China and India. I mean, we've got everything from anthracite to lignite, and everything in between.
Yep.
But you guys don't have it.
No, we don't. Australia's actually sort of a geologically limited milieu to some extent. We're quite an old continent, and we don't have sort of a lot of the fresher, cleaner stuff. A lot of our stuff is degraded from its original mineralogical content. But one of the things that I wanted to point out was actually so there's a potential technology called thorium reactors. And thorium reactors are really interesting. If you haven't heard of thorium reactors, I encourage you to look them up because they don't work on the same way as any of the traditional reactors. So there's zero possibility for a
weaponization.
Well, there's zero possibility for weaponization, but there's zero possibility for a runaway reaction.
Yeah.
What happens is that
they also produce a lower level waste too.
Yeah, they produce a lower level waste, but they rely on a stream of positrons So basically something that's like an electron, only positively charged instead of negatively charged. Now, those can only be artificially produced. They're not a natural byproduct of any radioactive chain. So what happens is they rely on a human operator turning on a switch and creating a stream of positrons. While the positron stream is flowing, the thorium gets turned into protactinium. The protactinium radioactively decays. If the human turns off the stream of positrons, the reaction stops. As opposed to, say uranium or plutonium fission, where you throw neutrons at the target fuel, and it reacts by producing more neutrons, in which case you can get sort of a runaway reaction, a critical mass, and which is self-sustaining. That just isn't possible with a thorium reactor. Sorry, it cannot sustain itself because it doesn't produce positrons. The Chinese hope to have thorium reactors up and running by 2030.
Well, all that is well and good, but it does step away a lot from my original topic with the Industrial Revolution. But then again, it does lead up to it in the present day technology. So we probably will look at that a little bit more later down the track. Next time we'll look at coal and its production and mining and things like that to do with the coal part of the Industrial Revolution. Anyone been thinking about what Paul's scientist or whoever that could be, something K?
I haven't
I
been.
know.
Oh, you do you?
Yes.
Do
But
you?
it's for the peanuts.
Yeah, but you can
DM chat.
DM Paul directly in internal chat.
Yeah.
To see if you're right or not. I guess last times, but this time, no. I don't think I'm going to guess it this time.
Okay.
And Dora says I recognise that picture. He does look a bit similar to the last guy. You're going to have to just change a bit of his hair, like maybe put an extra...
Oh, okay.
So people think it's a different bloke.
Deja vu.
Okay, so based on that almost photographic picture, I'm none the wiser.
Oh, you've got to look at the clue that I gave in the chat at some stage. He was a physiologist, a physician, and he was responsible for starting the fields of microbiology and bacteriology. And he studied the what caused the bacteria that caused tuberculosis and cholera.
We're not using his real picture, Tony, because Paul's suspicious of the peanuts doing what do you call it?
We have people doing reverse image lookups.
No, I think you've got the peanut stumped on this one, Paul.
Okay.
No one's even thinking.
Well, maybe I will have to put the picture up and let them reverse look it up.
Stewie's got a guess.
Let's see if Roman Keating. No. Let's see if Sheeple has got it right. He has.
Oh,
Indeed.
Mippet also gave an answer. I don't know how far back Mippet gave an
Yeah.
answer. Oh yeah, Mippet gave an answer. Robert Koch.
Okay. Robert Koch. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
That is him. Famous for creating Koch's postulates, which don't apply to viruses.
Okay. Hey, no. As Zeppelin said, I said Stickman. No, not quite right. Yes, John.
I vote for Zebulon.
And that was a complete guess. Oh, you done well, Mippet.
Very well.
Yeah, that's good.
She is a talented individual.
And you probably didn't know that his cousin invented that delicious candy treat known as the cocksucker. So don't.
I did not know that, Blue.
So have you got some dirt for us tonight, Terry? Or we're
only,
not doing dirt tonight?
we could follow on from you know who. He's the only backup dirt that I've got laying around.
Yeah. Oh, well. His latest one's quite, well, derpy.
Yeah, well, I've been going through his channel, so we should be able to catch up sooner or later because I haven't been watching every single one of his videos, so that one.
Oh, not Lindsay.
Yeah. Not Lindsay.
Oh man, yes, that's crazy.
Oh, he's a good bloke.
How do
He's
you
got-
feel about Lindsay, Tony?
Okay, let me see where we're up to.
Lindsay?
Yeah,
Who?
Lindsay
he's got his
Harris.
own type of geophysics understanding.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
you
you're
don't
going to do
know.
a Lindsay, if you're going to do a Lindsay, do the latest one, Terry. Do the microwave oven one, the second latest one.
Okay, I'm scrolling down through to see what.
I am not sure.
It's only,
I'm not sure.
only a couple of days ago.
I don't think I've encountered Lindsay.
Oh, haven't you?
Oh,
You
have.
You haven't experienced Lindsay. Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure you have.
if you've got a monitor, follow Boo's advice, push the monitors way back out of punching range. I've just gone to the
That is
kitchen, got my oven
JK.
mitts.
That is a photo of J.K. Simmons.
Who?
You.
Agent Jameson.
That is J.K. Simmons.
What? You're fired. That's right.
We've got Flat Earth.
I've got a whole meme that goes with that. Sorry, Terry.
That goes for 21 minutes.
I think he is a sensationally talented actor. Who did a fantastic job as J. Jonah Jameson, it has to be said.
Mm. You know that bit where he goes, "What? You serious?" You know that part, and he laughs. He asks for a raise or something. And I turned a something I heard a flat earther say into the meme.
Okay.
Can I share my meme, Terry?
I don't know if you've got that control.
Share screen.
Oh yeah, I think I turned it back on.
It's here. Let's see if it works. Yeah, I'll just show. Can you see that in totality?
Yes.
So I asked the flat earther about how lunar eclipses happen, and that's what they told me.
Yeah. Nice. One of the greatest actors of our times, I think.
They even turned him into his character into a kids video game, Lego version of the Marvel heroes and Spider-Man, and he's
Oh,
there,
really?
and he's like throwing his coffee around. He's getting so angry about Spider-Man doing it. He's seen the little clips of it. And it's like he's throwing his coffee around, and the staff puts back another coffee, and he's like, "What?" He drinks a little bit and throws it behind him. And he's like, "We're running out of coffee." It's quite funny. Well done. It's quite well done.
Okay.
Not sure if you've ever come across the video game Portal 2.
Portal 2. No, I haven't.
Heard of it. Never played it.
But J.K. Simmons does the voice for the founder of Aperture Science, and it is really, really good.
Okay, I'll pick all the ones I've jumped through are the Eye of Ra, the mythologies, Milky Way. I'm not going through all those ones, but this one here, we're going to catch up because we're skipping the few that are just But this one, Flat Earth Solar Eclipse.
The order.
Yeah, I'm not playing them in order. I'm just skipping through them.
I think you can watch them in any order. They're all just
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Dean.
just brain farts.
If you want to come in, Dean, you know where the special place is. Okay, this one is Flat Earth Solar Eclipse Explained. So if you want to know how the solar eclipse works on his Flat Earth model, we're going to find out.
Just watch and learn.
Yes. Now, Tony, you're not aware of his actual Flat Earth model, so you're going to miss out on a lot of this.
I thought Tony had seen this guy before.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd had.
I'm sure he has. I'm sure he'll recognise him when he sees him.
Yeah. If you notice him, just say, yes, this crazy guy.
Okay. Well, I don't recognise him from his name. But that being said, I make a point of not dedicating too much storage space to flat earthers. So
that's a good rule of.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Oh, Jesus! This guy was on. I can tell. This was the Floobs video. He was on so sick.
Oh, he might have been featured. That's for sure.
Does he have an Australian accent, and does he crack out the champagne?
No,
I haven't seen him crack the champagne yet.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
New Zealander, I think.
He's
Shame
New
on
Zealander.
okay.
No, we worked out he's from Canberra.
Does anyone?
Oh no, he's not.
Does anyone want him? Does anyone want him? Like, we design him. Him and Ray Comfort.
We get rid of all our blokes to America, so.
No, they're all New Zealanders.
Oh, okay.
Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, a definite New Zealander. Mitchell from Australia, definitely from New Zealand.
Okay.
Mitchell from Australia. Yeah. You got Scotty Storm though, right? He's yours, definitely. He's yours, flaming.
I'm sure he's not New Zealander.
Okay. You can press play.
Let's go, Terry.
Welcome. Today I'm going to talk about solar eclipses on the flat earth model. And what a what a joke it is when you start reading how science describes it.
That's right. I want to have a talk to Dean about this bloke to do with his model. If you're out there, Dean, if you could spare a few minutes.
Now, this is the true flat Earth model. Centre north vortex. All the celestial bodies are inside that vortex in the north. Because we can't see it, man cannot accept it. But it's there because it's right through all religions and ancient scriptures. It's the duality in our world. The physical world we see out here, and the non-physical that we do not see, like the spiritual world was connected with religions. But this is what's happening in the centre north. It's turning. It's a magnetic field that comes up out of Earth. A magnetic field, and across the circuit cuts a voltage, which is the electrical circuit. And that electrical circuit holds the sun. The sun is the electron. These are the proton. These are electrons.
What? The sun is an electron, did he say?
The sun is the electrical circuit.
Oh my God.
And this turns over the day. Earth doesn't turn around it. We'll go around the sun. The sun is at the centre, just like Copernicus said, but it's at the centre of Earth. And it all basically works pretty much the same, except you get more information once you get this in your head. Even though you cannot see that, you all have to accept it. That's what it is. All in here is all projected out here into our physical world, all in holographic images. Holographic projections into the moisture. Got that out of the way.
Dear.
This is what it looks like down on a flat plane. The energy, the magnetic fields spin out of the vortex, out to the equator. Science won't tell you this either. They haven't figured it out yet. And
yeah, you're right. Science won't tell you that.
Australis out of the south and goes back into the equator. Aurora Borealis, Australis. They meet at the equator. I can show you other information on this later. But that's it there.
Don't know how.
And then the Milky Way. This is the Milky Way.
Pause.
How's he going to show that?
The aurora, at least he got it right this time. He said Aurora Australis and Aurora Borealis, because the last one I watched, he said Australis Borealis. And he combined the two into one. But he's completely wrong. I mean, the Aurora Borealis and the Aurora Australis are at complete opposite ends of the world. They do not meet at the equator.
No, they don't. They don't come anywhere near the equator.
No.
Nonsensical to even suggest the possibility.
Yeah.
But
I think we might be in trouble.
I am amused by the concept of flat Earth boobs. Like Sisek, I am easily.
Now, hi Dean.
Hello.
We're just watching a guy with the donut flat Earth with the vortex central thing, and it's really derpy, I tell you.
Have I met Dean before?
Tony, meet Stingray. Stingray, Professor Tony. PhD
Hello.
Tony.
Yeah. Hello. Who is Stingray?
He's a graphic artist of the highest caliber.
I am not
Okay.
a graphic artist at all. That's something that I used to do a long time ago for a long time. I am entirely not that anymore. But thank you.
I apologize.
You are anything but that?
I can still do that.
Yeah.
I can still do that. I came in because this toroidal vortex thing, even though he's describing it as an electromagnetic field, which of such power we can't somehow detect, that's exactly how I came up with my flat Earth model, but in kind of an inverse way to bend light and have sunsets and things. So that's why I came in, Terry. I looked at this and thought, oh my god, that's my flat Earth model, but just
Stingray.
Just described in a different way.
Yeah.
Didn't you reinvent light though for your model?
No, he
No, I
reinvented
changed.
physics.
Well, no. Well, obviously the inverse square law I had to change slightly.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. I didn't invent light. That was already invented. It's
Oh,
just
what I mean is how light, is calculated. You had to change that to quadratic light or something.
Yeah. Cubic
Yeah,
fall
that's
off.
what I mean.
Yeah.
But a cubic fall off won't do it for you, will it? In order to get 50% of the disk illuminated, you need a really weird fall off, don't you?
No, because what I did, imagine this toroidal field. Imagine that I created some funky make-believe physics that even though the sun was ahead, the path of the light of the sun was arcing down and bending round, so that the further it went away, the more that bend occurred, until it actually then, that bending misses the ground and arcs upwards, in which case that's then sunset. You'd have to rise up to then see the sun again. So it obviously it's never going to work, but it's the closest I've got to making up quite utter bull crap to see if it goes.
Well,
I have been
anyway.
asked. I have to say, I have a friend who has wanted to come up with a better flat Earth model. He thinks he must be able to come up with a model that is better than the flat earthers have come up with.
Oh, yeah.
And
Or anyone would be better
Yeah.
because they don't have one.
But unfortunately, farmers did point out the one thing, because I can solve individual problems with, for lack of a better word, probably a little bit of magic. But I can solve every single observational anomaly that we would, but I can't put them together. So even though I can create a perfect sunrise and sunset, I can't get the direction correct of where that would occur, or the fact that we can have 24-hour or differential times, day and night at the South Pole. That's never going to work. So,
no.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you, Dean, because I did think of you when we first started watching this guy, the way he drew he's drawing it on the board, but I wouldn't have minded if there was a way we could just model it, a basic model of it in 3D, so we could actually display it here and we can show people what he's talking about. If that was possible, or would it be too hard?
It's not too hard, but I am absolutely flat out working while having this conversation at the moment. In my job that is nothing to do with 3D graph. Well, I tell a lie. It's augmented reality and virtual reality, but it is. My job is more machine learning, AI, and enterprise software development than it is 3D graphics anymore. But I still.
So you are graphic artist at the highest level.
Yeah, I knew that.
I was.
Other people didn't
I was. I've stopped making console computer games. My console computer game career ended about 9 years ago. But I was doing it for 18 years, visual effects and computer games. So yeah, maybe.
To be fair, I never said he's just a.
Okay, I'll let you off.
I label one of your attributes.
Well,
I'm trying to get myself out of.
Well, if the eventuality that I can grab you one time when you're free, we might play around with it then.
Yeah, no, I definitely will. I will if you hit me up after the next 2 weeks. My deadlines should be very much relaxed, but I have serious deadlines at the moment, which I'm working right now. I'm only here just because I thought, hey, this toroidal field looks interesting. Although it's not really a toroidal field. Well, it's a toroidal. What would I call this? A toroidal void of a electromagnetic field. But mine's the opposite.
Real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it now.
You mean to say you came on to watch this and you didn't realise that I'm streaming live again?
No, I do realise you're streaming live.
Oh.
He's on
Well,
Zoom.
of course he realizes. Of course he realizes that you're streaming live. Otherwise, he would be unaware of what's going on in the Zoom meeting.
But,
No.
Oh yeah. Oh, but anyway, congratulations, Terry, for being live again. There you go.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you. See, Tony?
But Stingray, I got to tell
Sorry?
you something.
What are you trying to get across here?
Well,
Are
Dean
you
just
trying to
thank.
demonstrate your? Are you trying to demonstrate yourself not being a dick?
You said that, not me.
Okay.
Stingray.
Or are you just trying to demonstrate somebody not being a dick to you, and suggesting that I should learn from this person? I
Well, yes,
resent
you should.
your-
I reckon you could learn something from Dean.
Almost certainly I could. But I'm philosophically opposed to the very concept.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to take that,
So,
Dean. What,
so
how do you-
Stingray, the person.
Yes,
the
John, I'm
person who
trying to
once-
watch the chat. Why? What happened? What did I miss out there now? Don't tell me they've pulled something behind me back and I can't see it. What have you done?
Stingray, the person who took your design and actually thought, because he saw it on Jose's, I believe, he came into chat to Jim Sever and said, you Globers got to be careful because you know we've got a model that's about 75% of the way there, and he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, this guy Stingray, he was showing it. I'm just like,
That's awesome. Love it.
I was like, I warned you about this happening, giving them ideas, but since finding out who you were, because he mentioned it too many times, I said, because I let him, I was like, tell them more about this model you talked about. Apparently there's one. Yeah, this guy Stingray, and everyone's like, Stingray, he's a Glober, and it was really funny, and he's since stopped using it.
Bless.
But yeah, I'd also one day want to talk to you when you are free. I know you're busy now, but about just modeling up a simple flat Earth model with the graphics that you provided, the basic photos of, so that I can use it as a rendered background image, just a static image.
Oh just for everybody's. I've already said to Conspiracy Cats, Blue, and the offer's open to anybody. I really don't care about Flat Earth anymore. So any of my examples, my Flat Earth model, my heliocentric solar system model, my sun predicting thing, sundials, all those demos that you've ever seen me do, I will give them to anyone and everyone that wants to use them, and if I've got time, show people how to use Blender in a basic way to be able to demonstrate them as well. So, and you can even have the Aussie Sunrise Sunset Seasons one as well. There you go.
Yeah, well, I'm putting my hand up for it if you.
Like I say, I've already said to. I just mentioned it on Jose's. Anybody that does debunking that wants to use them, just hit me up, and I'll send you all of them.
All right, cool. Are you I can just contact you through Discord then?
Yeah, just drop me a message on Discord.
All right, cool. Excellent. Thanks, Dean.
Not a problem.
Okay, we press play again.
All right, shall we?
Ready?
Yeah, shall we digest some more, Lindsay?
Have you got your monitors and everything set up? Out of the way?
Well, I can't even throw something at it at the moment, so that's good.
All right. I'll have to move this image because somebody in the Peanut Gallery said, can you just move that because his finger's in the wrong place.
The Egyptians worshipped the crocodile, but if you look at the Milky Way, I have a picture here. Just look at it. The Milky Way. Doesn't it look like a crocodile? There's the top of his head, his eye.
It's a
mouth.
video. You can't use graphics.
Well, you go back to the Aztecs. There. The vortex. The eye. The eye represents the sun. The Milky Way.
He still can't get it right in landscape.
Technology.
These tips.
The Achilles
Oh.
heel
Star
of
rotation
Plato.
being swallowed
Yeah.
back down the vortex because all energy gets recycled back down through the Milky Way. Everything that dies on Earth, the energy is kept and gets recycled. Carcass will stay there, but the energy, the spirit, flows back down through here.
Oh,
And what happens? There's the elliptic in here.
The
We
elliptic.
see out here, it's in
Calling
here.
it
It
the
goes
elliptic.
around the sun.
elliptic.
All the planets
Yeah.
go around the sun. There, out here.
I'm pretty sure he means the
And
ecliptic.
that's where the sun
Yeah,
sits. It's
yeah.
like an egg. It's shaped like an egg. And all the celestial bodies do this
Shaped like an egg. No.
around the whole thing, because this is what turns. This is the vortex, the spin, the counter force from the magnetic field that comes up. This is the counter force that comes back down. The electrical circuit. It's a spin. The sun is the voltage. It's come off this
Oh my God.
cross circuit because it's pressure. Pressure's built up and creates the voltage. Then they get shot back down. The celestial bodies don't fall in there; they'll
You'd
fall
be
back down.
surprised.
They go around. It's the planets. It's them doing it there.
Oh my God.
Now, how the solar eclipse occurs is when this elliptic plane is facing down. The sun is at the bottom, facing Earth. No brainer. That's how you get your shadow on Earth, because the moon does what these planets are doing. It comes around into the sun on new moon to start its journey again. They all come back to the sun. And it just happens that the elliptic's facing Earth, we get the shadow down onto the Earth.
Wait a minute, Terry, just pause it 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused myself.
Wait a minute. Did he just imply when he said the sun is the voltage and it creates a pressure? Did he just imply that it's piezoelectric?
Yeah, he
Well-
has used that word piece. I'm sure he used. No, he didn't.
He's but he certainly implied that pressure and voltage are the same thing, which is a remarkable claim in and of itself.
It's awesome.
I was almost
Because
thinking.
up until now, I had thought there were different units for pressure and voltage, but how wrong I was.
Exactly, it's a no-brainer.
The way he's explaining the shadow caused by the eclipse, it's like as if we're only going to get an eclipse in one spot.
Oh God!
There's nowhere
really,
else. Ah,
I really just, to some extent, I feel so sorry for this guy because he is completely lost, right? He is living in a delusion, and he should be in some sort of institution.
he could
that
be.
will
Well, how do you
prevent
know
him
he's
from
not?
harming
How do we know
himself
he's
or
not?
others.
Yeah,
could
he's
be.
probably been
Good
given
question.
he's probably been given use of the meeting room for half an hour.
Could well be, yes.
He's always just in this room. He never
Yeah,
shows anything.
he's always in
No-
this room.
No,
Yep.
And I know there's a window to one side because I have seen the reflection of the Venetian blinds on the board.
there used to be things on the wall though, right? Is this an old video or
No,
a new video?
no, it's only about a month or two old. So it
Oh,
might have
okay,
been
because
before.
he used
He
to
might
have,
have
like-
put things on the board. He might have took them off and then put them back on. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Maybe the help. Maybe the medical staff took him off.
And because this whole egg turns, the sun, everything turns. This all turns inside here. And as it turns, that came around, the sun was up here. You're not going to get a shadow on Earth if the sun's flipping, the sun and moon are lining up with the sky, are you? That's your full solar eclipse.
Never.
If it's slightly
Line
off,
something up with the sky.
if this is turning, it's slightly off, they're coming around a little bit, and the moon is here, ends up somewhere here, you'll get possible annuals or partial partial solar eclipses, or we know the moon comes in closer to the sun near November, so you're more likely to get the a full solar eclipse in November, maybe, possibly. But you know, this is basically how it works. It's the ecliptic is lining up with Earth. It'll come around and then go shoot back up. And this is what it does. And this is how the southern sky works too, because this movement around here,
Oh God.
down and around, creates the southern, because all these elliptics, all the stars in the background are turning because of the shape, and we're seeing it come around this point here. They all add up to form a full circle, but they're not full star circles. They sort of come in, go out, because they all make up from small to large, small to large. No star will do a full rotation, but the well-known like constellations or whatever, you might possibly see do the full cycle, but the background stars you won't, because the
Oh God.
it's an overlay. So you get the main ones might start off like I've shown the left with T, like there, end up like as it goes around. You know, it's going to look different wherever you are around the perimeter, looking out. And we all just see this short distance here, connection of the two skies, don't we? We all have our horizon, and we all see this short connection here before they come off, because we see this big rotation like this. These are equal, so it should be way out here. You'll only see the short space where they're connected.
It just makes it up as he
Science
goes,
makes
doesn't
it
it?
there.
I'll just do a slight
The
correction.
Egyptians write
He
about it
does.
in their pyramid textbooks. The two skies. Someone's walked the whole sky. I'll get into that
The
later on.
scribbling
The
part,
solar eclipse is what
which
we're on
draws
about.
over everything.
This is what the moon does over a month. It's a cycle. This is why you won't see. This is Earth. This is Earth. South.
Uh-huh.
This turns. So there's nothing happening here today. This month.
That's all south, see?
This will turn a little bit.
There's south all the way around.
It just keeps turning over the months. So the moon comes out, and this is turning. This is also turning because the sun's in there. There's the egg. That turns. They both come out together. They're all travelling in the same direction. Sun. But science is trying to tell us that the moon is going in the opposite direction to the sun. And then they do a big spiel online about why the shadow of the moon goes this way when the sun is going that way. It's hilarious. We have to understand the two images. The sky image, well, we're looking upwards, and the one looking down on flat on Earth. So if you're a southerner, this is how the sky looks. If you're looking north from the south, everything's from the right to the left, east to west, moon and the sun. But if you're in the north,
Show
if
the
you're looking
camera,
south,
Lindsay.
you'll stand over here. It's still going east to west, but it's going from your left to your right. It's still the same.
It's the same.
But as soon as you bring this
Yeah, I
down,
know.
onto
That's the same.
looking down on the flat plane Earth,
Are you sure you had it round the right way?
And this is how they like to confuse everybody. This is how science likes to confuse everybody.
Science
The moon's
does.
going
That's
one
the
direction,
pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah.
and the sun's going the other, and they make up
That's
some
how-
bloody big story about it.
Oh.
An outright lie, because they know where to straight. There's the image. This is the June 21st. Look at the shape of it. It's going the wrong direction. That's
That's
ball
on a,
Earth. There's no
what do you
ball
call those
Earth.
maps?
Everything goes around the centre. Everything turns.
Look how small that
Everything
picture
in the
is.
centre turns. So there's their ball Earth, but in reality, on the round map, there it is. The shadow's going that
Oh.
way. They've drawn it across South America. South, Africa, across the United States. Well, this is the that one too. And that's the June one.
You know,
Well,
something's
similar to
wrong when
that
you
August one
mistake
back in
the
2017.
African continent for South
Anyway, this is
America.
the journey
Oh, yeah.
just gone
Yeah.
2020. That's the motion, because everything's going around here. So if you look at that shape there, relate it to here, you know, where could that be? Well, we know that the solar eclipse is right when the moon is there. So we'll know the shape where this position of the cycle is, wouldn't we? When you start relating
You're
this
telling
to
the story.
out there or north.
Yeah, I know. You're telling the story, yeah.
I won't go into that. But anyway, but that's looking down on the earth. That's the shadow looking down on the earth. But if you flip it back up this way, it's the opposite direction. Because there's the sky motion if you're looking up at the sky, but looking down on the earth, there's the shadow.
I'm pretty
You
sure on the
tell
right
us
of
the
that
moon is
top
going in one direction
title
and
it
the sun's
says
going in
this is
another.
a
No,
projection.
they're both going in the same direction. But this is how it works.
Oh God.
So you have to understand the two motions. Up and down. So
Up and down.
there's the shadow. You're getting a shadow down here on Earth. Because they're both turning this way, aren't they? They all come out together. The sun, the egg's turning,
Aren't they?
and the moon's coming out. New moon. New moon's in that first quarter, half, three.
I'd like to be able to ask him, when do you predict the next solar eclipse on his map? I wonder if he'd be able to answer that.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
He needs another whiteboard for that, Terry.
Does he? Okay.
My challenge to you guys is try listening to him without watching what he's doing.
Yeah.
And see if it makes any goddamn sense whatsoever. Like, you know, just listen to what he's saying in isolation, because it is the profoundly disturbing babble of somebody who has long been a stranger to reason. It just really makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, he told us at the end of his other video the other day that he's the only one in the world who knows this.
Yes, well,
Remember that, Gravity?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I'm the only one who knows it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, whoa.
I reckon a better challenge would be to can the audio, leave the video going, and come up with an audio channel that actually makes sense according to what he's doing.
Oh, that as he draws something, that would be fun.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
yeah.
Yeah. Dub over the top of it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That'd be fun.
If we could get the audio track for Mr. Squiggle and Blackboard from that place. Upside down, Miss Jane. Upside down.
Wait a minute. I've just started looking at this again with what you guys just inferred. And it's like, this is how you insert a donut into your rectum. You got the donut. And then it's got this is how the rectum expands that he's looking at right now. It works. It does work.
Well, that's why one of the peanuts said, tell him to get his finger out of the middle of the vortex.
I'd be like, this is the design for the fountain. It's going to be a toroidal fountain. It's going to spray the water, and when the water hits, it's going to create inward ripples, as seen in the bottom egg shape.
Dave remembers Mr. Squiggle. Hurry up, hurry up.
Yeah.
You know what I always remember about Mr. Squirrel?
What?
Unfair to snails. Unfair to snails. You remember the snail? The snail guy who had a television. Yes.
I remember Steam Shovel.
And
Steam Shovel,
he was always complaining that stuff was unfair to snails.
Might have been a conspiracy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. The Americans out there probably got no idea what we're talking about.
Absolutely none.
Quarter, full moon. Before it goes back into the sun. to be re-energized, as all the celestial bodies do.
Oh,
So-
Jesus.
All the celestial bodies get re-energized, but from what we don't know.
There's the shadow. And it's all going to go that way too.
Irish Jew says sphincter eclipse.
But you know, this is back up, look on the sky. It's obviously going to go back that way. When you look down on the earth, that's all it's doing. That's all it is. Nothing is going in the opposite direction. It's a no-brainer. Just get your head around this.
Yes, I agree with that.
That's how we see it. But then you bring it down, put it on the earth. That's how a southerner sees it. Hang on. Yeah, southerner sees it. Like that.
Now just turn the
Bring
thing
it
around.
down
Don't
on
have
the
to get on
earth.
the other side of it. Yeah, that's it.
Which
Just turn
way
it
you
around.
go?
That's it.
There's the shadow of the moon, still going in the same direction. See? Same direction.
It's because you drew the arrow.
Science wants you to think it's going in the opposite direction. You've got an on-earth image, you've got the sky image. You bring it down. Oh, I can't believe them. And I can't believe people believe that sort of rubbish.
Believe what?
He's now
This-
agreeing
this-
with
this
the
What's
rubbish.
it got here?
Wait a minute. He's got to
These are
Google
celestial
something.
bodies. How they all go back to they all come back in to the sun. They all do it. There's Mercury, but that's the moon. The moon does the same. Mercury. Venus does this. See that? They all loop back into the
They're
sun.
just images.
They avoid
Can't
this
verify
thing.
that.
Looks like
Don't want to fall back
circles.
down through there.
Could be
That's
wheel.
what-
Could be
this is
wheel
what's-
design.
This is what's driving them all the planets. Not the background stars. They're in the
One way
magnetic
only.
field that comes up, the big vortex. They're all the background stars. That's what's creating this.
I want to cut this piece out.
full sky
Terry, and put
rotations.
Riley in there when he says, "It's an egg. This is an egg."
Yeah.
You got the Polaris rotation straight up.
Have Riley's
straight up.
voice dubbed into that bit.
You look straight down there.
Yes.
Polaris.
This
for
is
all
an
we know,
egg.
it could be the sun. It's buried way
This is an
down
egg.
in there. We're only looking down that way. You're not going to see much. But it's not until you get this image here, we see it all out here. That's where the Milky Way is, and all the planets. They're all out there. And they're this circular
Are they?
motion.
Wasn't he saying that they were the reflection or the what was that word he used, Paul? For not reflection.
Projection.
Was it projection? I think it was.
No, he does say that they're reflected out there, but he doesn't say what they're reflected off or how
Yeah, that's
it
it.
happens.
Yeah, that's it.
He
Yeah.
just he just claims it's a reflection, but how this reflection happens or what it reflects off, who knows?
There was a dome shape, and apparently, yeah, it is reflecting from the north. We see what's reflected from the north is the south skies. It's just so.
Look, but he's got a cleavage-shaped model, and that is enough for me.
Well, it's actually half a donut. It's actually half a donut.
Look, you can see what you want to see. I'm seeing.
Well, some blokes reckoned out there that it was a butt crack, so some people do see what they want to see.
Exactly. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're ill if you don't see cleavage. That's
No, that's a top-down view of someone, an ass bending over with a donut about to be inserted into it.
It's
Again,
the lady
I'm not
with the sun
saying-
hat on.
Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're ill. Okay, that's as politely as I can put it.
So he's tattooing a butt cheek right now. Is that what he's doing?
Pretty much, yes.
I like it.
John Rapp said,
All right, Terry.
I'm seeing two asses on screen.
Meets at the equator.
You can't see
And
me.
we all have that image. This this
Oh,
Polaris
No,
the
you're not on
rotation
camera at the moment, Tony.
is the same size as the
Yeah,
CD, so
okay.
it should be a bit bigger.
That's a relief.
It's
Yeah,
the
and
southern
plus you haven't got
rotation
an avatar,
and the
so
Polaris rotation, and we'll see that little
How can I not
about
have
10
an
degrees
avatar?
of a meeting here.
Did I not
And that's
sign
where you
in?
want to be at early next month, because you'll be seeing 3 lovely straight lines like this coming through this point of Orion's belt. Only happens in spring. The divider of the two. That is the duality, bringing the two together. This is when they have the divine awakenings. A lot of people have an awakening. Even the one just gone, the June 21st, 2020 solar eclipse. Anyone born in Aquarius, or conceived in Aquarius, could have could have had a spiritual enlightenment, opening of the pineal gland or something.
Conceived or born? Which
Because
one?
that was the
Counts back 9 months from their
the
birthday.
sign the moon was in, and that relates to whoever's born in that period. What you have to bear in mind is you're conceived. It's when you're conceived, because you can always arrive early or late, and that won't be your sign. Your sign is when you're conceived, so you have to do a little bit of homework if you're born early or late. Most cases you'll be born on the same sign as you're conceived, 9 months later. But
that's a bit hard to work out. If you're late or
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
early, from when you conceived, you have to count from there. But how do you know you're early or late? It's like a circular thing.
Well, Terry, with Lindsay's explanations, if we think hard enough, it must be a no-brainer.
Okay.
yeah,
He's
so
lost.
that solar eclipse will
okay.
happen on the same
He's got his finger on his
sign,
mouth.
but you have to follow the next
Where was
full
I?
moon after that. So that was July, August, yeah. August. So that was the 21st, I think. The full moon is on the 4th of August. You'll find that and that will be your conceived sign. But this awakening, first full moon, is the opposite. And this is really interesting because physics knows wherever there's something happening here, anywhere in the universe, there's the opposite happening at the same time. This is the duality in our existence. And this is the divine awakening. Well, it's about the spiritual awakening. The whole thing of religion's all the Egyptians have left us. There's this opposite in your zodiac sign. Born here,
Wait a
you'll
minute.
awaken here. Physical birth.
9 months would put you in February,
spiritual
making you
birth,
Pisces.
The rebirth. This was about solar eclipses, but I wandered a bit, but hey. So you got that? So what happens? This turns, and if the moon comes in for its rejuvenation at this spot, when it's facing the earth, there's your solar eclipse.
Rejuvenation.
When the moon's facing the Earth, that's a bit of a okay.
He said rejuvenation of the moon
Yeah, the moon gets rejuvenated somehow.
for some reason.
So how do you know which way?
Alright.
How do you know the moon's facing the Earth?
Solar eclipse.
Yep. You write it down. It
No-brainer.
must be true.
And this
Yeah.
is where you get your, I think I've been through it, partials. When
We take the E that
when
he's
the sun's
missing from the
turning
egg
away-
shape.
away
I get it.
from
It's a whole
its
pig. It's a
downward
whole puzzle.
projection, coming
Okay.
up and out, away again. And like I was saying, these elliptics around here, all those create this out here. This, the background
my
stars,
favourite
the
part.
magnetic stars.
Which scribbles
The-
back
the-
over
the,
everything.
possible planets or whatever.
Was you going to rub it all out and start again like you did the other day?
They're
Oh, that was
picture
great.
overlaid in here.
This is my
which
favorite.
you
Yeah,
may
this is
see
the
a
best part.
complete rotation. But they'll be in a different position as they move around, whichever way they're going. Which way you want to look at it, as they move away. So here you might see the T this way, but it's turning, isn't it? So over here he's going to see the T like this.
Phil
He
wants
wants
to
it
meet
like
Mr.
this.
Physics. He knows
See,
stuff I
science,
don't know.
I'm the first to find this. They won't accept it. It's a no-brainer. They have to get out and you follow it. Time-lapse videos. You only have to get your camera up and you'll see this 10 degrees here. Connection point for Joe Blow. But some other dude will be standing over here an hour or two later and he gets his. He gets his little connection here. But it's always going like this. But you can't see that. But when you put your mind to it, you can see how the whole thing works.
The scribbles.
Yeah. It's a bit messy now.
Okay?
Rub it out and
Solar
start again.
eclipses. It's a no-brainer. Just remember, one image down
All
here,
no-brainers.
another image up here.
Okay.
Remember which way you're looking. South
Yeah, it depends on which way you're
or
looking.
north.
Yeah, but
Always-
which south?
Get yourself a picture like I do. I always seem to confuse myself. You draw a picture.
It's
If you stand south, look north. That's how you're seeing it.
Yeah,
Or
but
if
which
you're in the
south?
north, you're looking south,
Well,
draw your picture.
Oh, what? Which south? Is that
to
that north?
be brutally honest, if he
Which is,
thinks he's only confused himself, he has underestimated his accomplishment. Because I am
Let's,
pretty
do that way.
fucking confused
same
by
thing.
this stage.
Same thing. Just stay in the right direction. Okay, cheers.
Oh, jeez. Anyway,
Let's just take in that screenshot for a moment.
which one?
Jesus
What, the earlier one?
No, that one, that last one, just the final.
The one where he had the thing on over his head.
Like, just don't show the video of Lindsay. Just show a screenshot to any, medical, like what's that, mental institution, doctors, or anything like that. And be like, what do you make? What do you make of this? Does this person need help? Because obviously it's solar eclipses. Because it's a no-brainer. Look at it. But no, like the fact he's got solar eclipses there, and I think it'll be very interesting.
If you didn't have the words solar eclipse as the heading, you would have no idea that this is anything to do with solar eclipses.
No, if
No,
that
exactly,
if
but-
that wasn't written there, I wouldn't know.
Man.
That was crazy.
Okay, you got till next
Wow.
Saturday to recuperate until
So,
the next installment of Lindsay.
I think we were fucking lucky to survive, really.
Oh, that reminds me, Tony. I haven't got PayPal for the
Yep.
swear jar sorted out yet.
Oh, that's a good thing. Yes, because my credit card and my credit card got cancelled today. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
Rushing home, I lost my wallet.
Oh, dear.
No.
That sucks.
So I phoned up and had just succeeded in cancelling some cards when a young lady knocked at the door and said, "Is this your wallet?" Okay, thanks.
That's always the case.
Did it have any money in it?
It did have money in it. A young, apparently Muslim lady. I want to point out for the benefit of.
Very nice.
Okay.
Very kind of her.
Did you give it $20?
You know, of course, Tony, that if you didn't ring up and cancel your cards, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I do. I do understand. She literally knocked on the door while I was still on the phone with the guy, having just said, and I said, "So it's been returned. Can we cancel that?" No, we can't. Okay, fine. Let's just keep on going then. I did not give her money because I felt it would be insulting to her.
She would not accept it. I feel.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to still get them replaced anyway, Tony, because you never know who's had the wallet before she found it even. May have taken a copy of the numbers or anything,
Yep.
It's true, right? Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't mean to drain. It all worked out happily. I have my wallet back. I have credit cards and various other things, so all good.
So you're saying it's an IOU to Terry then?
Yes, an IOU. What is the fee? I need to do a cost benefit analysis.
Oh,
What is the
I don't know. I'd have to go back 6 months to try to
It's
remember.
$1 per
the
letter
fine.
of swear word.
Is it $1 per word?
a
Is it?
dollar?
No, letter.
Wow.
Oh, per letter
Yeah.
or per word?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
So much for free speech.
So while I've got some liberty, what qualifies as a swear word?
Just the main F word and the C word.
Something you wouldn't call your
Okay.
mother.
All right.
so you're not allowed to say Frisian cow, Tony.
Okay. So have you you're blissfully unaware of my relationship with my mother? Well, I guess that's a good thing.
Oh,
I don't think we'll go there.
blissfully unaware is a good way to explain Lindsay, actually.
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, Terry, I forgot to say, we should read some of the comments. Damn it.
Ah, I can
Under
I can
that video.
Yeah, I think I can work that out.
Yeah,
They're
don't lie to
they're
us.
always priceless. They're always priceless.
Okay, I think we can do that. Couple of clicks here and there.
Your claims to be able to think are based on very thin, very tenuous evidence, Terry.
Does somebody want to reply to Tony for me while I'm sorting this out?
Do not
You can't multitask.
commit mutiny against the captain.
I'll change the subject if you want. I've got some amazing news. I actually bought my girlfriend a. This is funny. I bought my girlfriend an electric car, and I put it in her name and everything. It was a BMW i3.
Yeah.
And she made me promise that it comes with a long distance driver. Me. So every time it's the world's best city car, no questions. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But on long drives, the time when I get to drive it, not so amazing. And its range as well isn't that brilliant. So I said, we want to go further afield. We want to go visit friends and family more, but I'm really not having a good time driving your car. She goes, okay, so what do you want to do? I says, oh, that's simple. I want to trade it in for a car that I want to buy. So
no.
that's going to be easier to drive. And she goes, okay, and do I get to drive your car on a daily basis? I says, well, to start off with, yes, and then we'll save up and we'll get another just little city car. But for now on, it'll be both our cars, and you'll use it for work because my office is my home office anyway. She goes, oh great, what car is it? I says, well, it's not really a car, it's more of a computing platform that just happens to be wrapped in wheels and a car body. And she goes, it's a Tesla, isn't it? And she goes, and I said, well, yeah. And she goes, and you're going to buy full self-driving with it, so you don't have to drive, aren't you? And I went, well, yeah. So on the weekend, hopefully, human malware, flu-like symptoms that we're going into lockdown again, providing that doesn't happen, I'm going to be picking up my new computing platform, which has got full self-driving in it. So on those long miles, I can just sit there and it will drive for me.
Oh.
And I'm very excited.
Stay awake when it does that, just in case.
Oh well, you have to always have your hand on the steering wheel so it detects the pressure. But on eBay for $9.99, you can buy a little sort of like a clip-on pack that clips onto the steering wheel that provides capacitive conductivity that allows you to not touch the steering wheel. I'm not.
I'm not sure who else has been addicted to air crash investigations.
Yeah, yeah, I like
Um,
watching those.
Oh yeah, I love those. I
um,
love those.
but
Yeah.
I am reminded. So in some of the earlier series, they branched out into train crash investigations,
Mm.
and you've just reminded me of one of those because the drivers were required to have their foot on a particular pedal to keep the train in motion. And of course, this was a pain in the ass, so they all routinely just used a brick to keep
Yeah,
the
yeah, I get
pedal
it.
down. It's one of those minor steps where a lot of people do it, but it's one of the steps on the way to having a really bad accident.
Okay, so here's an interesting statistic for the continental United States. In the
Yes.
last 2 years, I think these figures are over 2 years. Don't quote me on them, but the figures are accurate. I might not know the time period.
Right.
The incident average for vehicles, motor vehicle incidents, sits at I think it's quite high in the States. I think it's 4% or something, or 4.5% or something. Now, now Tesla claimed that their incident level with no functioning autopilot is within the 2% range, and with autopilot and enhanced autopilot and safety features enabled is 0.3%. So the figures and statistics would actually say buying that rubber thing from eBay for $9.99 or just driving around on autopilot is a metric crap ton safer. See, I avoided. Oh no, I can say S, can't I? I can say S ton. Sarah.
Mm-hmm. You
Oh
can.
yeah, metric shit ton safer. There you go.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I hope you
I
put some
noticed
photos
that you
up.
got a reply from somebody else other than Terry. So
Well, I
this
did
is where
mention
Terry.
before, it's the four-letter F word and the four-letter C word.
Okay. Well, if they're the only ones. You've set very high standards, actually.
I don't give a shit what other ones you use.
All right.
What,
Well,
can
excellent.
it? Wait a minute. Can it be like? Does anybody remember the new? The last Battlestar Galactica series
Yep.
where they wanted to say the F word so many
Oh,
times, but
yeah.
they just said frack.
Yeah,
F
that's
R.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that they could
Yep.
actually say it because it was their version of that word. We could just come
Yeah.
up with something similar to use here.
Yeah.
How about Father Tits Thick?
Or Smeg. Smeg was the Red Dwarf version, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
He took the
The good
peanuts.
place, they just said the good place, they just said fork.
Oh yeah.
It took the peanuts, except for Stewie, to pick out the spelling mistake in this sentence. In this.
I read it straight away. I was just like, he's literally spelling it how he's sounding it out.
Yeah. And he spelled it twice that way.
Opposite. Yeah.
And it's just as confusing his reply to the
Oh,
question in the
no.
first place.
Oh, that's sad.
Okay, the other one's to do with that one. If the Earth was flat, we wouldn't see a horizon. And then they're debunked in one sentence. Okay, so what's his reply? If you didn't think like a confused child, you would realize some things are not real. They just appear to be. Then again, even a child realizes they are just the way they are, but aren't
Appear to
worth
be.
talking about till an adult who herds him or her into an indoctrination. Oh, he spelt that right. Camp and screws with their mind. Then they up like you till they wake up, hopefully. Oh, okay. If a camera with a zoom lens makes an ocean horizon disappear, or even more so, with a large telescope, shouldn't you be out there still looking for where it disappeared to?
What? That's ridiculous.
Okay, so that made literally no sense.
No.
And I will thank you not to try and kill me like that. Okay, I don't need brain cells killed. I don't need to be trying to make sense of stuff that demonstrably doesn't make sense. So whatever you're doing, stop it. I'm on to you.
Well, I
Good
think
reply.
I think there's enough replies here.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I just wanted to see.
Every single one of them's whatever you're snorting, scrambling, or fewer remaining brain cells you have. Your incomparable word salad shows the world how ridiculous you are. There doesn't seem to be anyone really agreeing with him.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, he's only for entertainment value on our side anyway.
Yeah.
So keep it up, Lindsay. You're doing
It's funny
good.
when
Just
it's funny
more-
though, Terry. When you read the comments, you can hear his voice when you read them. You know.
Oh, were you? Oh, sorry.
No, but you know what he would have said.
Yeah.
You know how he would have said it.
How he would have said it, yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
So I have only ever encountered this individual on Sussex Channel. Yes, you're right. I have encountered him, but in fact, he is the only person who has inspired my brother to want to take to do a spoof video of him.
yeah, I can imagine what
Because he
Cersei did to him.
Because he waves his hand around going Old Kingdom, New Kingdom. And my brother wanted to go the Shire, Mordor, just turned it into a sort of, turn it from Egyptian mythology into Lord of the Rings. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, the film will be catching.
He's a deeply confused individual. Just really, really, it makes you wonder a little bit whether our society is doing enough for the perpetually bewildered.
That may be true, Zebulon. Even the flatdards don't know what he's talking about. Oh, we're up to your
If they
section now,
did-
Paul, are you?
Well, I thought we might move on a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Go for some more dumb things.
Yes, some more dumb.
Goodness.
We like dumb here.
Is there
Yeah,
that much
'cause-
of it?
Because heaven alone knows we haven't had enough of fucking
Yeah.
dumb.
That's right. You'd think politicians would be clever, wouldn't you? But nope.
No. Why the fuck would I think politicians are clever? Where did you
And
get
dang-
that from? They're fucking idiots.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
Dan Quayle
that's right.
at least knows there's a solar system. We thinks we should enter
has
it.
he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Republicans understand the importance of bondage between a mother and child.
That's a Dan Quayle quote, definitely.
That's
yes.
yeah, definitely is. Yeah, maybe that's a Freudian slip. Maybe he's into bondage.
Could be.
One word sums up probably the responsibility of any vice president, and that one word is to be prepared.
Oh, that's a. I'm not sure. I'm going to go Al Gore.
No, this is all Dan Quayle.
This is all Dan Quayle.
This is
all
all
of it.
Dan Quayle. Yeah, for the
God.
first half anyway, and then we go on to
Okay,
someone
all right.
else that's got quite a few.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah. When I have been asked during these last weeks who caused the riots and the killing in LA, my answer has been direct and simple. Who is to blame for the riots? The rioters are to blame. Who is to blame for the killings? The killers are to blame.
you have to. There's a definite logical elegance to
There is, isn't there?
the response.
No, Mippet. Tony's not allowed to say it. He just he said it, but he's not allowed to.
That's
Mippet's
almost
just
as good as the one. That's almost as good as the one
What?
last stream where hot objects are hot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We're going to have the best educated American people in the world. Yeah. Like Australia's got educated American people too, hey? You know?
Hmm.
Oh, dear. Quite frankly, teachers are the only profession that teaches our children.
Again, there is a logical
Oh, yeah,
soundness
he's right.
to what he's saying. Yeah.
Mars is essentially in the same orbit. Mars is somewhat the same distance from the sun, which is very important. We have seen pictures where there are canals, we believe, and water. If there is water, that means there is oxygen. If oxygen, that means we can breathe. I mean, the logic's just irrefutable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Revolutionary.
Yeah.
As long as there's water there, we can breathe, you know?
Sadly untrue.
That's right.
How is he to know that?
But even just saying that it's in the same orbit.
Yeah. Well, effectively the same orbit, only like
Yeah.
a few million kilometers difference, but what's
Yeah.
a few million kilometers amongst friends?
When you say things like for NASA, space is still a high priority.
Come on.
Yeah. That's pretty dumb. The National Aeronautical and Space Administration. Yeah. And this is the
Wow.
famous one.
Oh,
this is
yeah,
the
this
famous
one.
one of all
This is a
time.
good
Yeah.
one. If we
It's
are-
time for the human race to enter the solar system.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, where have we been all this time?
I
Yeah.
love that. I love
know.
that one.
Yeah. Yeah. The Holocaust was an obscene period in our nation's history. I mean, in this century's history. But we all lived in this century. I didn't live in this century.
What?
I don't even know what he's trying to say there.
Well, he's no.
I mean, I think
Let's
he's just
just
trying to
say-
say that the Holocaust is obscene.
Yes,
wasn't
I think
us.
he's just saying the Holocaust was bad, but we didn't do it, and I
Yeah.
made it sound like we did. So I'm trying to distance myself, but obviously I wasn't alive when it happened, and I
Yeah.
made it sound like I was. Can you stop listening to me now? Please, somebody else talk, for the love of God.
Yeah. The future will be better tomorrow.
That's actually rather worrying, right?
It is, isn't it?
Because it implies that the rest of today is going to be really, really crappy.
Yeah.
Today's a write-off. Tomorrow, the future, it's all good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Tomorrow's
Yeah.
future, the future from tomorrow onward, much
Yeah.
better than the future from today onward.
Yeah.
The only difference being from now until the end of today. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a
Yeah.
warning.
Yeah.
Everybody strap on the plastic because we're in for
Yeah.
a rough ride.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We have a firm commitment to NATO. We are a part of NATO. We have a firm commitment to Europe. We are a part of Europe.
Not so much. Not as
No.
much as that. No.
No. It's wonderful.
Just no.
It's wonderful to be here in the great state of Chicago.
What? Is that a new state they made up?
Apparently.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome to the president. Welcome to President Bush, Mrs. Bush, and my fellow astronauts.
Your fellow astronauts.
Yeah, fellow astronauts. He thinks he's an astronaut now.
Well, he's certainly a space cadet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Verbosity leads to unclear, inarticulate things.
That
Kind of like that sentence,
but,
you know.
but that is so much better than I have the best words, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Republicans have been accused of abandoning the poor. It's the other way around. They never vote for us.
Oh no. Oh man.
Oh, dear. We will move forward. We will move upward. And yes, we will move onward.
Oh my god.
If you give a person a fish, they'll fish for a day. But if you train a person to fish, they'll fish for a lifetime.
Yeah, you got that wrong.
Exactly. That's not how it goes. Not how it goes.
They'll fish for a day if you give them a fish.
Yeah. Here's a fish, lad. Go fishing now. You know. Damn it! I shouldn't have taught him to fish. He's been fishing all his life and nothing else.
Exactly. Isn't it? I'll give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Yeah. Chinese proverb.
This president is going to lead us out of this recovery.
See, we're out of recovery. Okay, then.
Yeah.
You don't even
I
through
love
recovery.
this one too. We've seen this one before. The global importance of the Middle East is that it keeps the Far East and the Near East from encroaching on each other.
That's just ridiculous. Oh, my God.
No, that was
physical
pretty
entity.
good. That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Votes
The problem.
Yeah. You go.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry.
No,
It's
go
not that.
for it.
It's just he's trying to make terminology that doesn't make sense make sense, and it's something that flat earthers do too. So it's just it's just a weird. They give this stuff these names. It must make sense. Therefore, the Middle East must be between the Near East and the Far East.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Apparently, votes are like trees. If you are trying to build a forest, if you have more trees than you have forests, then at that point, the pollsters will probably say that you will win.
Huh?
What?
Oh my goodness.
What?
What?
More trees.
Then you have forests.
More trees than forests.
I'd like to know a situation where you can have less trees than forests.
Yeah.
Please explain to me how you could ever have less trees than forests.
It's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I haven't seen a forest without trees.
Yeah. I mean, you could have the same number of trees as forest if every forest only had one tree.
Exactly.
But then it wouldn't be a forest, would it? It'd just be a freaking tree.
So you could say you could see the
It's a-
forest for the tree instead of the other way around. You can't see
Yeah.
the forest for the tree.
It's a question of whether we're going to go forward into the future or past into the back.
Hey.
No way. No way.
Yeah.
He was so close.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
nearly got it. He nearly got it.
That wouldn't have been totally an inane statement if he had just got that order right. Oh,
Yeah.
Or back into the past.
great.
Yeah.
Great Scott.
Unfortunately, the people of Louisiana are not racists.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Oh
Oh,
my
dear.
goodness. Be more racist.
My friends, no matter how rough the road may be, we can and we will never, never surrender to what is right.
Oh God.
They tried so hard
It's
to make
just a
that profound.
pattern. It's a pattern.
It is a pattern.
It's
Yeah.
a pattern.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah. I deserve respect for the things I did not do.
Yeah, mate.
Okay, yep.
He might not have did them, but I know he
Probably.
thought. He
I
may
actually
have thought
agree with
about
that
it.
one, guys.
Yeah.
There is some element. There is an element of truth to that one. Yes.
Because
Yeah,
if he
you-
did all
I
the
had
things
not-
that he could have done.
Yeah, you can be in a situation whereby it is incredibly beneficial with not a lot of downside for people, but still downside, and the benefits that you would get would be great. The disadvantage that they would get would be small, but you still don't do it. So then, yeah, you probably, it shows morality. So I semi-agree with that a little bit.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is the only one that
there is an
said-
element. It's like, have you ever seen Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where they're where he's driving the truck. They're always trying to lay their rules on you. Like drive between the lines, drive on the right side of the road, don't drive on the railroad tracks. And the drunk guy in the passenger seat goes, "Actually, that's one that I can get behind." So not driving on the train tracks is something he does deserve some respect for. So there you go. We're all agreed on that one.
When you
Take
asked,
the
have you
groundhog
seen?
off.
When you asked, have you seen Groundhog Day? I was going to say I see it every day.
Oh,
Oh,
nice,
shit.
nice.
Not bad.
And then we
Not
come
bad.
to the dumb things that George W. Bush has said. Oh, dear.
God.
Well, we're going to be here for a
Oh,
while
man.
now.
No, not all of them.
Oh,
Not
okay.
all of them. This is one of my favourites, of course. Our enemies are innovative and resourceful, and so are we. They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we.
Oh,
Oh, dear.
I'm sure he must have thought about what he said.
Yeah.
Again, he wanted to get the concept across, and the concept just wasn't articulated properly.
That's right, yeah. I know how hard it is for you to put food on your family.
Really?
They always move it.
Yeah.
Comes perilously close to kink shaming, that does.
I know, yeah. Rarely is the question asked, is our children learning?
The president, no less. Oh, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the word meant to be A-R-E.
Yeah. Too many good docs are getting out of the business. Too many OB-GYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across the country.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Oh, dear.
is that meant to be
That is just...
yeah, okay.
Obstetricians, yeah.
And gynecologists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Neither in French, nor in English, nor in Mexican.
Oh, come on.
Did you know that Mexican was a language?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You teach a child to read, and he or her will be able to pass a literacy test.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, man. No.
But apparently not a president.
No.
Yes. He or her. It's like
He or her.
pronouns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. See, in my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in, to kind of catapult the propaganda. So
Okay.
the truth is propaganda.
Mm.
Far out.
Yeah. And so, General, I want to thank you for your service, and I appreciate the fact that you really snatched defeat out of the jaws of those who are trying to defeat us in Iraq.
Yeah.
Think about
Okay.
that. We ought to make the pie higher.
Which pie?
I don't know. The fiscal pie, I presume. There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. Shame on you, fool me. You can't be fooled again.
I think we have somebody who can speak directly to that.
Mm.
Is that in fact a saying in Tennessee?
You there, Blue?
He's probably working on his Cavendish.
Yeah, no, he's probably away.
Yeah. And there is distrust in Washington. I am surprised, frankly, at the amount of distrust that exists in this town, and I'm sorry it's the case, as I'll work hard to try to elevate it.
Not enough distrust. We need more.
Not enough distrust. We need more.
We need more. Sow the seeds.
Yeah. We'll let our friends be the peacekeepers, and the great country called America will be the pacemakers.
Oh, come on. He's trying to going for this like philosophical thing, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just falling short of it. Same with Quayle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Failed.
Yeah. It's important for us to explain to our nation that life is important. It's not only life of babies, but it's life of children living in, the dark dungeons of the internet. So children apparently live in the dungeons of the internet.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Where else would they live? That's where I'd keep them if I had any.
Yeah. Yeah. People say, how can I help on this war against terror? How can I fight evil? You can do so by mentioning a child, by going into a shut-in's house and saying, I love you.
Whoa.
Yeah, how's that going to stop terrorism?
Far out.
Yeah. Well, I think if you say you're going to do something and don't do it, that's trustworthiness.
Oh
Not
my
so
god.
much.
Not so much, yeah.
Oh man.
I'm looking forward to a good night's sleep on the soil of a friend. Oh dear.
Oh, it's just incredible.
Yeah. Families is where our nation finds hope, where wings take dream.
Come on. Wings take dream.
Wings take dream. I think he meant dreams take wing. Yeah. When I campaigned here in 2000, I said, I want to be a war president. No president wants to be a war president, but I am one. I think there were quite a few war presidents in the US, weren't there?
There were. He's trying to say that he doesn't want to be, that nobody seeks out war. He doesn't want to present himself as a warmonger. But he just said he did want to be a warmonger. So you're kind of
contradicting yourself.
You literally just said the opposite. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. And this one, I love this one. This is one of my favorites. I'll be long gone before some smart person ever figures out what happened inside this Oval Office. Oh, dear.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's all I've got for you today. There you go.
That was awesome. You'd almost think Dan Quayle and President Bush were related. Brothers.
They're on the same team,
both,
perhaps.
yeah, they both tried. They both tried for that, wisdom and passing down teachings and philosophical views, and it just fell so far short of the target.
Well, thanks
I
for
mean,
that, Paul.
the people. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was interrupting you, wasn't I? But that's okay. You can interrupt me. What I was going to say is thanks, Paul. That was great. And obviously there'd probably be more stupid things said by stupid presidents. Oh, did I say that out
Oh
loud?
yeah, and there's a lot more said by Bush and Quayle too, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think our presidents may have said a few things.
Our president.
Our prime minister, sorry.
Okay. That one too.
Yeah. Some things said by them too.
Is
Well, while I'm grabbing...
I've got not a huge amount of respect for that individual, but that's just me.
Oh, give me a minute. I'm just busy at the moment. And we'll have a look and see what other... I got some of Blue's stuff to do with his Cavendish there. I might show a bit of that. I think there might be an update on that. They seem to be coming pretty quick now. Blue's getting closer to the finish line with this.
Just the level of skill he brings to it, just really impresses me.
Well, I can equivocate the level of skill with the shaping of the wood and getting things precise. Like I'm the same with the metalworking side. It's got to be shaped right and it fits, just for your own, even for your own satisfaction more than anything most of the time. But then you can get a little bit OCD about it, but there is a limit, I suppose.
Have you ever seen? There's an episode of Hogan's Heroes where they have to steal a secret engine that the Germans are working upon that is so quiet that it just creates silence. You can't hear anything while this plane engine is going by, and so they steal it and they take it apart, and they've got to get it back together again before the German high command show up, and they're trying to do it, and Hogan goes, "What's the holdup? They're due here any minute." And the guy goes, "Well, we've just got this one last piece, and it won't go back in." And they're trying to fit this thing back into the engine, and Hogan just picks up a hammer, just smacks it back into place. He goes, "You forced it." He goes, "It's a German engine. Force is all it understands." There you go. Which seemed like it was somehow related to your metalworking story, but now that I think back on it, maybe not so much.
Nah, I'm not in that way.
Okay.
Night Mippet.
I'm a bit.
You haven't dropped any videos lately, Tony?
I dropped one last week, I think.
Last week, okay.
Which was my second one on gas pressure.
And like I got corrected before about gas pressure and atmospheric pressure, which you corrected me on, which I tried to say that they're two different things, but then I was
just
half right, because depending on what context you're doing it in, would that be fair?
I think that's fair enough. I mean, if you're going to talk about atmosphere, you talk about atmospheric pressure, but atmospheric pressure is basically just a special case of gas pressure. Basically, it's if you say atmospheric pressure, then it's obvious what you're talking about. But really, atmospheric pressure is just a particular case of gas pressure, which is the point I'm trying to make in my video.
Right. Okay. Now, where's that video? Where are we? Oh, I've got pictures. I don't know if I've got a video. Have I? Where are we? Making a pulley frame. Oh, right. We've seen the frame construction through the bandsaw. So I've got making a pulley. That's one video.
Okay, time to make the...
Whoop. That one goes for 16 minutes, but how much does that one go for? I'll have to play the next one next time. How long does that one go for? Oh, that one only goes for 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, so I've got one that goes for 16 minutes, but then I've got one that only goes for 2 minutes. And then I've got some pictures to show. But does the pictures relate to the video? Oh, okay. I think it might be back to front. I've got pictures and then I've got a video of the pictures, but the pictures are after the video. Yeah. Alright. But this bit is to do with making a pulley. He's got to make the pulley for the apparatus. Alright. Move that out of the way. Share. This will probably wake Blue up now, hearing his own voice. Unless he's down the shed.
The wheel. And to do that, the pulley, I should say. And to make the pulley, I'm going to use a power router. This is the board I'm going to make it out of. I'm going to cut the circular piece out of this end of it. I drilled a hole in it for a 1/2 inch dowel, which is handy because the shaft that goes through there is also going to be 1/2 inch. You'd almost think I planned that. So the idea is this dowel is set the correct distance away to give me a finished 11 inch diameter pulley. So I'm going to drop the pin down in the hole. The router bit is set flush right now. And then I'm going to start lowering. I'll turn the router on, lower it 1/8 of an inch, make one circle with it, drop it down another 1/8 of an inch, make another circle, etc. I've done this before, making holes for stuff like cornhole boards and stuff like that. And it works pretty good. We'll see how this works. So I've got my gauge set on 0 here. Router's off. It's going to make a lot of noise. That's why I don't like running this damn thing. But you got to do what you got to do. So let's see what happens. 1/8 of an inch. And I've not really given the dust anywhere to go, so it just kind of hangs up in there. That looks okay though. So because I'm going in circles, I'll just stop each time, take the twist out of the cord. Let's crank it up and do it again. Hands out. Now I know I've gone down 1/4 of an inch. I've got my reading glasses on, and I really ought to have the ear protection on, which I don't, but please guys, observe proper safety procedures. Do not turn one of these things off and leave it running without your hand on it. I've seen skill saws back up and hurt people, so make sure it stops before you do anything. Just making a really nice cut, and that's about halfway now. This is 3/4 inch stock, so do it again. Old Henry's carpenter would have given a month's pay for one of these things.
I'll just skip forward a bit. Obviously this will be a repeat, so we'll skip forward a bit. wonder what he was going to do at the end of
Okay, I
it.
want to be careful now, because when this breaks through, there's going to be nothing supporting it. So let me just be here where I can be safe with it.
I was wondering what he was going to do to manhandle it around like that once he cut through.
Unplug it. Let me retract this. Well, a little bit that I missed. It's okay, I can take care of that with a chisel. Retract the blade out of this thing. Okay, cutter's out of the way. We have a pulley, or the start of one anyway. There we go. So next, clean that little piece off right there with a chisel. Next we'll get out a little bit we call a core box bit. Kind of a semicircular little thing. And I'm going to use that to make a groove. I'm going to stop messing with that till I get it in a vise so I don't get hurt. But okay, I got to come up with a way to, let's see where the core box went. Yeah. It's one of these things. And it opens up somehow or the other. There you go. And it's just a little semicircular cutter. And I'm just going to cut a groove all the way around in it that way. So I got to rig up something for this, for that router that'll let me keep that cut centered. But that's all it'll take to make a pulley. Alrighty, on to the next mission. So after a brief pause,
I thought he would just use the router with a bit that would just follow the edge of it and cut a groove in that.
I could just simply take the little circle cutter thingy.
Because the angle at which it cuts,
and
Terry.
super glue a couple of guides on there so that I can just drop the wheel down in it, and I'll just slowly rotate this thing and hopefully cut a groove. Who knows? Let's find out. If you can see it or not, looks pretty good.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, that'll do nicely for a pulley. I'll take
Wow, that's awesome.
maybe another little pass right in here. It looks like it didn't get quite all the way through, but let's do it real quick. That's okay. I'll just clean that up with a round file, smooth off these outside edges a little bit, and I believe we're about done with this thing. Okay.
I haven't quite figured out yet where that part fits. What else?
Maybe it helps raise the balls up off the balance.
Well, he does have another video after this one, which only runs for a couple of minutes, so this will explain a lot.
Well, we finally get to test something. We got the carrier beam, the pulley we made this morning. Got it attached to the carrier beam, and I've built just a simulation of the upper support beam. That'll be like this thing, about that size. I've just got a stainless steel fender washer to act as a race, and then there's a little thrust bearing. Put another fender washer on top of it, like so. And then this big boy should slip right over it. Like that. What do you know? I think it'll work.
Don't spin it around. It might hit something.
So the big lead balls will be hanging from 3/8 inch rods that go through these holes in either end of the carrier beam. But I like that. It's a little tight on the wood as it goes through the pulley, but that'll loosen up with time, or I can open up the hole size slightly. But okay, I'm liking it. Yep, ought to work.
I do have a couple of.
What type of wood is that, Terry?
It's only pine. It's a type of pine. It's a type of
looks
pine.
really nice, eh?
Oh yeah, the grain come out nice when after he cut it. Well, that'll look cool on the angle like that. Sure. So you're not cutting it
I have to look.
You're not milling it like straight on flush how you normally would. That's cut on an angle, and it cuts through the different layers of grain and it gives a different pattern.
I might have to experiment with some of that stuff on my laser cutter. Do some etchings and stuff. Looks beautiful.
Now we do have. I'm trying to work out which. If Blue was here, he could explain the images where, because he's got it set up. He's got the frame set up like that on that one. No, I won't use that image. I'll go to the next one. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to. Blue would have to explain it. What for these images that are over in Discord in his channel over in Discord, which is called Blues Cavendish. For anyone that wants to check it out. For that. Okay, I'll get rid of that for now. We've been going for 3 hours and 10 minutes. Wow, already. Gee, time flies when you're having fun. Can we finish off on anything that I can find? I thought this one would be alright. Everett Anderson's one. We'll finish off on that one. The latest from
Only
Everett
imagine.
Yeah, the latest from Everett Anderson.
Okay.
I saw the notification, but I didn't watch it
Oh, okay.
because I knew we'd be watching it. So I thought I'd save it for a surprise.
Yeah.
It's not the Everett Anderson Lindsay Harris one.
No. I couldn't
I
ruin
paused
your
there for a
brain.
minute.
I couldn't ruin your brain cells that much. Okay, I'll just
Alrighty.
I'll just get rid of that. I have to jump forward on this video a little bit because of that music he plays. I'm not sure about. So.
Microraptor asks, is Blue a scientist, by the way? No. He's a very smart man.
Finish off with Lindsay, thank God it's flat says. No, we started off with, well, that was a sort of at the front. This is Everett Anderson.
Hello YouTubers, I want to teach all of mankind the earth is flat and stationary. Inside this package is one of everything from flatearth101.com. I'm going to take it inside and sort it, and I'm sure there's way more than what I ordered. So here's everything you can get from flatearth101.com. We'll start with all the extras. Cards, buttons, stickers, pamphlets, postcards, even an extra banner with promo. Next, table menu to get your dinner conversation started while you hand out all your goodies. Cards, front and back. For anybody that says Chemtrail owes me $300, that one's for you. Stickers, there's a sticker there. Here's all the other ones on a piece of paper for you. These cards are very important.
And how much do you pay for all this? Oh,
Postcards.
$2.50 per.
This booklet, top 10 proofs the Earth is not a
$9
spinning
each.
ball, with some extras in the back.
It's American too,
Pamphlets, necklaces, silver and black, magnets, the pins, the stickers, business card holders, one for your pocket, one for your toolbox,
Cha-ching,
currency
cha-ching,
stamps.
cha-ching.
There you go, that's everything you need. Start street teaching, it's not that difficult. They also hook it up with a bunch of different types of apparel. 64 different logos you can get on your t-shirts. There's logos of fairy tale. Water level is a fact. FlatEarth101.com.
Welcome to Pretty Paddy's. May I take your money?
Oh,
Very cool. Wow. $79 American for a poster. Whoa.
It's a little bit rich.
$79 for any poster is it's like $155 or something for us.
Yeah, but Microcraft is saying Globe Earth has more merch. We win. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're not in it for the money. Is there anything else we can finish up on that anyone knows of, or anyone got anything they want to mention?
So did you play my video? Because I didn't notice it.
Have we played your
Starts out
video?
funny.
Have we played your video?
Yes.
Your
Yes.
video. Where is your video?
No, we have not played your video yet.
It might be too far back. We might have missed it.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Because
Yeah, you want to go
I had
that way?
Wade's Underworld. Where's Wally's?
Yeah,
There was
no,
another
no,
Everett
don't worry
Anderson
about it.
there. There's a
No.
Simon Dan, Isaac Butterfield,
Uh,
MC Toon.
sure.
Wow,
Yeah,
how far
don't
back
worry.
are you? You must have been shilled a while back. Professor Dave. Professor Stick. See, it got lost in the ether.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame.
Oh well, anyway, you can shield your channel. If anyone out there not subscribed to PhD Tony's channel, please do. And I'm just trying to find it now, even. Oh dear.
Because, of course, you're subscribed to it. You know,
Yes, I am
you
subscribed to it, but I don't know how I'd get it. Oh yeah, I could go that way. Just means I'll have to go the long way around. I don't have it on hand. Alright, where are you?
Oh, you're almost at 1,000 subscribers.
I am.
I'm nearly at 500.
Well, you're coming back now, so
Yeah. I got
content will be going out again off your
470.
channel.
I think I got 473. So, there's PhD's channel. I think that's the. Is that how it works? Copy. Paste.
Introduction.
There you go. PhD Tony. There we go. Did that work? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Sorry, Tony, I spelled it wrong.
What did you spell wrong?
PhD toy.
Oh, well done.
Oh, dear.
I think people will get the point.
Terry,
What?
you had one job.
Yeah, I know. I had one job to do.
One job to do.
Yes.
One job.
Yeah, one job. Yeah. Point and Love says, I like toys. Okay then. We'll finish off here anyway. I think we've had enough for tonight. Let me say maybe goodbyes to the peanuts out there.
Good night, Peanuts. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I've got to type all this out. I can't type fast. I think I spelt that right. So I
May I
may do it.
suggest something to do with seismic activity claims would be good also, Tony.
What seismic activity claims?
Or just kind of explaining how we understand, well, not we, but how you understand, how it all works and how we detect them and how they discover fault lines. I think it's really invaluable information with the climate of argument out there at the moment.
All right.
I'll definitely send people towards information like that.
I may do an
I
afternoon
can try.
stream on what's today? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday afternoon maybe. I'll see how I'm going. If not, I'll see you next Saturday evening. Oh, thanks, Robert Koch. Cock? Okay, Robert Koch then. Blue can't hear us. Agent Jameson, PhD Tony, Boggs, Dora, David out there in the peanut gallery, point it and laugh. Dave, Microcraptor, Dora. Who else we had? Thank God it's flat. Was there?
No name.
Oh yeah, No Name was out there earlier. Dartman, point and laugh. Elmigs was out there. I'm probably going to miss somebody. I won't scrub. Oh, Irish Stewie. Stingray. Oh, he's gone now. Yeah, he said he was still listening. I'll catch you next time, Stingray. Okay, I think that's about... Oh, Mippert's already gone. That's right. Zebulon. David Nichols. We Need Critical Thinking was there too. Alright, so I'll see yous then. Night, Peanuts. Good night, panel.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for coming.
Good night, Carjung Nuts.
That's right. I forgot about that. We've still got nuts out there. Oh, Professor Pineapple. Yeah, you're a bit late there.